Today, we're asking the internet, what was a convoluted plan your party put together that backfired immediately? Part 2. So a bit of context first. Me and my party were in one of the largest cities in the world. At the heart of the city was the Spire, the tallest building in the world, made with adamantine supports, and it was the office building of many important nobles, including the president equivalent in the city, named Mr. Morgenstein. Our party was split up, and we were looking for information about a group named the Prima Materia. Two of our party members, a bard named Caroline and a wizard named Aaroncroft, went to the Spire trying to get information from nobles about this. The first plan they had was for the bard to charm her way into the head office to speak with Mr. Morgenstein. Then they planned to start a fire in the Spire to scare everyone out, but decided against it. Finally, our wizard decided to use invisibility to get up to the head office to speak with Mr. Morgenstein. As he is sneaking up the stairs, our DM makes him make a roll to get out of the way of people so they wouldn't notice him. Player rolls a natural 1. As he's going up the stairs, he accidentally trips a man on his way down. Just so you know, the Spire is about 50 stories tall. The man fell down 17 flights of stairs, and then a voice screamed from the bottom of the stairs, "Mr. Morgenstein is dead!" TLDR, one of our party members accidentally killed the president of the second largest city in the world. Botched a stealth mission horribly. Literally can't name a single thing that went wrong because every single thing possible went wrong. Yeah, probably wasn't the best idea to take out that security tower with a rocket launcher, and accidentally starting a prison riot while trying to sneak in and break the party members out after they got captured, tripping every alarm and setting everything on fire. It even made the news in-game, so yeah, it was not stealthy at all. This was in Shadowrun, and the GM was just trying not to laugh his ass off. My party's convoluted plan didn't backfire immediately. It actually worked as intended, and then backfired in the most hilarious way. One of my players did a murder hobo and shot a guy for trying to steal his illegal barrel of alcohol. Here be consequences. And 10 minutes of roleplay later, we were having an impromptu Phoenix Wright session to get him off the hook for murder. Now, I won't go into the full details of the plan, but it involved forgery, spreading rumors, and a lot of deception checks at court. Pivotal in all of this was a barrel of demonic garum, basically fermented fish sauce that they got from the warlock's patron to defeat the charge that he was illegally buying alcohol. After all the shenanigans was through, and our murder hobo got to do his community service instead of swaying in the breeze, they stored the barrel at the tavern they owned. And now for the backfire. 2 sessions later, the tavern was burning, and the only liquid at hand was the demonic garum. So they used that to douse some of the flames, and then they found out that aerosolized demonic garum is hallucinogenic as hell, and they now had to put out the fire while tripping balls. After a one-shot turned into the main campaign, one of my PCs became the Lost King and now ruled over a full village. Before the next session, one player found out about the Peasant Cannon and was determined to try it, to which I told him it would take very high rolls to get it to work, and he would have to roll every 10 peasants to make sure they could do it correctly. 15 rolls that never dipped below 18, and a nat freaking 20 for damage later. My PCs thought that this was a viable option moving forward. A few sessions later, the party was facing a high-level demon and, as you guessed it, Peasant Cannon. They started rolling, and about halfway through, a nat 1 is rolled. The object struck the ground with nat 20 damage and created a concussion that killed every single peasant at once. Needless to say, my PCs are off to find a new town to lord over and try again. I have a good one. The country my players live in is at war with a neighboring country of orcs. They got an assignment to go and help in the defense of a particularly crucial fortress, and so they went and helped. They got sent out into a nearby forest to scout for any orc activity. It was your run-of-the-mill scouting operation until they happened upon a cave with a singular orc guarding it, and voices coming from inside. The players put the one orc guarding the entrance to sleep, then promptly bashed its head in with a stone. Then the sorcerer got the idea to go in and see who the other voices belonged to. He used disguise self to assume the form of the orc they just killed and went right inside. He came to the grim realization that he did not know Orcish when 2 orcs stopped him about 20 feet into the cave. We had a quest where we had to help out a town that was under the rule of a death knight. This Death Knight had quite a lot of monsters he tamed under his control that he used to attack the town. The townsfolk weren't so knowledgeable as to tell us what the monster was, but we guessed that it's a chimera given certain footprints and descriptions from the unlucky survivors. Meanwhile, we've made our way to the town and discovered ballistae mounted on the walls, created a long time ago when elves inhabited it, but left. We devised a plan to set bait for the chimera at the main entrance with the ballistae trained on it, ready to fire upon the unsuspecting monstrosity. So our group waited atop the walls with other townsfolk we organized into a militia. We began hearing noises, but nothing happening towards the bait. We look around and noticed that a few townsfolk were missing from their posts. Then there was another noise, and another missing person. We overlooked one vital clue that would have kept some of the townsfolk alive. Did you know that chimera can fly? We sure didn't. Granted, we did eventually kill it, but I will never forget the moment the whole table collectively thought, oh shit. This plan wasn't really that convoluted, but it still failed pretty miserably. Our party was trying to figure out how to escort a caravan through an abandoned city filled with undead. We had scouted ahead and fought a group of undead, one of which had on its person a pouch of invisibility dust. We decided that it might be the best thing to use. However, as we approached the front gate and threw the dust around everyone, coughing and sneezing began to happen. All but a few passed out, with the survivors passing their con checks instead of willingly failing them like the majority did, and dragged the unconscious bodies away from the entrance. Turns out that pouch of dust was actually dust of sneeze and coughing, but appeared as invisibility dust to everyone else. Yes, this is actually a real magic item, look it up. So it was back to the drawing board on figuring out our way through. I was playing Savage Worlds, and me and a girl from the party decided to forge a plan while being attacked by zombies. The idea was that she throws some oil sacks up in the air and I shoot them with burning arrows. After a bunch of convincing, our DM agreed. Long story short, another player got set on fire and needed an arm amputated. So, party was fighting a giant with two heads. We did a bit of damage only to find out that he was sort of an ally. My Yuan-Ti warlock decided to walk into the cave where some enemies were to try and cast suggestion on the boss and end everything without bloodshed. Sadly, the guy was not in my range, so instead I threw out a fireball. Almost killed two party members while aiming away from the captives. Was labeled as potentially evil even when I pointed out that the kids were safe. I once played a World War II superhero roleplay. I was this French mob boss turned resistance fighter with the power to produce excessively toxic plant spores from these vine wing things. Kind of a fragile glass cannon build, ridiculously lethal when attacking from ambush, but not really suited to a straight-up fight. He was also a smooth talker due to his days as a definitely, totally legitimate businessman before his powers manifested. So, step 1, he ambushed a Nazi patrol, poisoned them, and stole their uniforms. Step 2, he disguised himself as a Nazi. He could speak fluent German. Step 3, use his earthbending buddy to get right into the back of the German base, well away from any witnesses, so he could just slip in without drawing notice. Step 4, infiltrate the base and locate their food supplies. Step 5, my partner, who does not speak German, gets caught, and the base is on high alert. Step 6, don't panic, take advantage of my apparent rank to try and clear the rank and file out of one of the supply tents. Step 7, just barely make my persuasion roll. Step 8, one of the Axis supers, Japanese woman with minor kitsune powers, just walked into the tent and wants to know what's happening. Step 9, nearly succeed in BSing a freaking trickster spirit. Step 10, try to hit her with knockout spores before she could raise the alarm. Step 11, oh crap, she succeeded on her dodge roll. Step 12, alarm is raised, and all the troops outside start shooting through the canvas while she runs out. This was a mid-level plan to try and kill a king way before his time. Basically, the druid got their hands on a ring of spell storing that they filled with a 4th level heat metal spell. During a fake duel, which was more of a fancy execution, the king was wearing magical plate armor as he slaughtered a bunch of peasants who challenged him. The druid wild-shaped into a cat and got close enough to cast the spell and activate the heat metal stored in the ring. The king took the full duration to take the armor off and took a full 40 D8 fire damage. They were almost going to get away with it, but one of the king's guards noticed the cat with a magic fiery ring, speared them with a javelin. The rogue, who was about to sneak attack the king to try and finish him off, got smacked around by 2 other king's guard, and the king's clerics quickly healed the king back up. I was genuinely stressed DMing this because if the rogue had just thrown a dagger with sneak attack, he probably could have killed the king before clerics could step in. In the end, the druid managed to escape, and the rogue lost an arm, but they both made it out alive. Hello and congratulations, you've made it to the very end of this video, and for that, I wish to applaud your dedication to the cause of chicanery and the inevitable implosion thereof. If your party put together a convoluted plan that backfired immediately, we want to hear about it in the comments section below. And if you've got another Dungeons & Dragons story you'd like to share with the internet, we would humbly ask you to check out our official subreddit, r/MrRipper, from which we source many stories just like these for videos just like this. If you're a DM or a player and you're looking for a group, I would suggest you point your peepers at Mr. Ripper's Group Finder, a Discord server we've built to help you find a group, hence the name. I hope this week that you buckle down and knock off that thing that you've been putting off, and we're not going to talk any further about how late I've been submitting my recordings to Rip Daddy, because I'm hoping I can preach better time management into existence since I do believe in practicing that which I preach. I'm Dave Makes Noises. If you'd like to keep up with me and my noises, you are welcome to do so on TikTok and Instagram. You can find me there at Dave Makes Noises. Please sub for Nat 20s. Ding that dong to put some ding in your dong. I bid you adieu.